No chemicals or preservatives, just 100% honest to goodness hickory smoked meat.
Let's put another shrimp on the barbie.
Boy, some chicken wings have really hit the spot.
You ain't got no better food like some chicken wings, some baby back ribs, some fries or something?
It's just two guys talking, am I right? We're just talking.
Hey, howdy, hey. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the pit.
Welcome. I really need a better response to that.
I should prompt you a little better, probably.
No, you're good.
Our give and take is not as good as it used to be, John.
I know. I was just distracted by the fact that someone has clearly moved the camera in here. Because you can't see the table.
That's true. It got...
If anyone's interested...
Our little helpers.
Yeah, I was going to say, if anyone's interested, I have 3 tax deductions.
Free to a mediocre home.
Oh, no. That was the worst part about going to Chicago. Uh-huh. I got there and I was doing some cool stuff and I'd look around and be like, oh, where's Robbie? He'd think this...
Yeah. That's what I was looking at that.
I freaking miss my kids.
I guess we probably should have done some of that on the podcast because John just gave me kind of a download of his tour. It was pretty sick. And a lot of it I'm looking at man, that looks awesome. I should try that. I want to go see Soldier Field and stuff where the Bears play. And my kids would absolutely love it. But I don't know what I want to take my kids on a trip like that.
Here's the hard thing. My kids would love it. Mm-hmm. I did a 90-minute architecture tour.
Yeah. On the river.
On the river.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Which, anyone who knows anything about Chicago, it's a very popular thing to do. I lived there for 6.5 years, never once did it.
Oh, so this isn't something you'd done before? Okay.
No, this was I told myself last time I was there, I was going to do it, and I didn't. Mm-hmm. So I was I told Haley, I don't care what we do. I don't care where we eat, which is a pretty big thing because that's what you do in Chicago is you eat.
Right.
I was I want to go on this tour. I want, haven't ever done it. It's 90 minutes, and man, I blinked and it was over. I was fascinated the whole time. I took 300 pictures, killed my phone. My kids would have been bored after the first 10 minutes and would have been Dad, can I play on your phone? Dad,
right.
Dad.
And I have your phone. Yeah, that's so true.
And I would have hated the whole experience.
Yeah.
So it's, there are definitely things to do in Chicago with kids. Most of the things we talked about.
They would not have enjoyed.
No.
I'm finding that is a delicate balance because I want my kids to experience things, but I also don't want to hate my life the whole time. So
yeah, I think the museums are a great option.
They like them, huh?
Yeah, I remember that. That was always the best field trip of the year. Is you went to a different museum.
They have a few more museums in Chicago than we do here in Cache Valley.
Or Utah.
Yeah.
Period. General.
Nice.
We've got what? This is the place.
Church History Museum.
Yeah, but I haven't been to the Church History Museum in a very long time. I remember walking through the whole museum in 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's not very big, but it does exist. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But it's not,
And we have an aquarium.
We do have an aquarium.
I guess we technically have 2 aquariums. Mm-hmm. But one of them's in a shopping mall, which is kind of weird.
Right, it's the worst. And what else? Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I think we've got a planetarium.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I did go to that when I was in high school.
And then there's the Kids Discovery Museum at the Gateway.
Which is a horrible, horrible place where dreams go to die.
Hey, man, the kids love it.
They do. I guess where parents' dreams go to die.
I chaperoned a field trip there a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And it wasn't terrible. I didn't care about any of it, but the kids had a blast.
My kids were over the moon. They had a great time, and the whole time I was just there's kids everywhere. Parents aren't watching their kids. Oh my goodness,
Yeah, that is a constant battle in my life of I have expectations and it feels like nobody else does.
Right. Or at least mine are different than yours, and so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway,
But yeah, they have like giant, like real museums that you go and spend a whole day and don't see everything. That kids
yeah,
can
I
have a
think
lot of
that's
fun
cool.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's dope.
But yeah, I learned all sorts of stuff about Chicago on that river tour. I put something on my LinkedIn, like I was so blown away by it.
Yeah.
So
Huh. That's cool. See, and I didn't realize, and I realized that we're just talking about Chicago here on a barbecue podcast, but I didn't realize that Chicago was like the central hub. Like you can get there from the Atlantic and then down to the Gulf of Mexico through the Mississippi River or even up north.
yeah, it
That's
was
cool.
like before air transit, like it was a major seaport,
Yeah.
which you don't think about being in the middle of the country.
Right. Which probably aided in like the security and stuff because it was inland and interesting.
Yeah.
Dope.
Here's something, Mr. Wisconsin, that
Yeah.
you may not know.
Oh. I don't know.
In World War II, a company in Wisconsin, in Green Bay, I believe, it was either Green Bay or Milwaukee, right on the water, was contracted to build submarines. And the German U-boats were patrolling the North Atlantic, expecting them to come out the St. Lawrence Seaway, which I taught Mike about
Yeah,
tonight.
I just learned about. Had never heard of that. Well, I'm sure I have probably.
But rather than go out that way, they went down the Illinois River to the Mississippi and out the Gulf through the Panama Canal and connected with the Pacific Fleet.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
I didn't know that. I learned that this
You
trip.
learned that on your tour?
I did. It is
Dude.
also the only facility that launches submarines like a ship where they roll them out sideways. Everyone else shoots them out forward.
Really? I'm into it.
Yeah. Chicago's fascinating.
Yeah.
And there is so much good food there.
That is what I've heard from several people.
Yeah.
The food in Chicago is unreal.
Yeah. I went to, first of all, I ate my pizza, had Geno's one day. Actually had Geno's that was warmed up. Haley and I flew in after the rest of my family. They had Geno's earlier in the day, saved us a couple of pieces, so we warmed those up when we got to the hotel at like 9 o'clock at night. And then went to Lou Malnati's, the other home of deep dish. And Haley said the most endearing thing she's said in our 15 years of marriage to me.
Which was?
The warmed up Geno's was better than this.
Really?
Yeah. Geno's and Lou's, it's a huge battle. We're not even going to talk about the other place. It's like Shasta trying to be involved in the Coke versus Pepsi conversation. Like, it's just not.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it so? Are there several Genos or is there one Genos? You know what I mean? Like, are there multiple
There are
ones
several,
around the city, or is
yeah,
there
are
one
several
you go to?
locations now, but the original one is on Superior. And they've like renovated and done it up, so it's like really nice now. When I was growing up and a kid, it was a little bit of a roll of the dice when you went there, whether or not it was going to be open because it got closed down so many times by the health department.
Oh, shoot.
Dude, and it was like sketchy. It was like this brownstone that you like walked up into. The floors were all uneven. It was super dark.
Oh dear.
And the thing about Geno's is you write on, like, you can take a Sharpie or a paint marker or whatever, and all of the walls are just tagged.
Oh wow.
And
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a really cool.
See, stuff like that I'm into, like the I don't know,
Yeah, like
tradition
you've
or
been to
whatever
the
you want to call it.
factory
Yeah.
here in Logan.
Uh-huh.
Imagine like 10 times dirtier.
Yeah. Ooh.
Like it's just like it was the grossest place, but the food was so good that you didn't care about it.
Huh.
So,
Interesting.
anyways, it's delicious, and we need to do that.
This
But-
makes me feel like I need to travel more.
yeah,
But
but
you talk about Chicago.
we ate theirs. I went somewhere new. I had never been to Harry Carey's Italian restaurant. Harry Carey, the announcer for the Cubs, you obviously.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mostly know him from Will Ferrell's impression of him on Saturday Night Live.
That's fair.
Yeah.
He had a restaurant that was just right by our hotel, so we did that. And had chicken Vesuvio, which is a big dish in Chicago. It's a grilled chicken that's like cooked in a wine sauce and has potatoes. Anyways, It was fantastic.
What would you say is like the nationality of Chicago? You know what I mean?
It's it's a melting pot.
Yeah.
There's a huge Polish population there,
Okay.
but also a lot of German influence, heavy Italian. I mean, that's where Capone was from, and
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
there's a lot of mob influence
Yeah.
in the Italian food there.
Huh.
But yeah, it is a true melting pot of nationalities and
Because
culture.
of the St. Lawrence Seaway.
It had a big part to do with
Look
it.
at me learning
go.
things.
Yeah, but if I thought of like the food in Chicago, it's probably Italian food and then steaks. It was
Oh, steaks.
There's a huge like cattle industry, again because of the rivers and the trade there. There's a lot of meat.
Really? Mm-hmm. See, when I think of Chicago, I just think Chicago-style pizza just because I'm not overly familiar with it. So I think Italian food or different types of things. I did not know big on steaks.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm down.
Yeah, steaks are a whole nother thing. I intentionally avoided the steak restaurants because, one, they get really expensive, but it turns into a huge debate as to which one we're going to go to. So,
I see. Interesting. John, would you rather have a steak or a pizza?
that's hard, man.
Yeah. I was mostly just trying to segue, but now I'm interested.
Yeah, would you rather?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to play Would You Rather today.
I'm kind of excited about this. This could be fun.
I'm super excited about it. I don't know, man. It is rare that I would just pass on good Chicago deep dish pizza. But I love steak,
Yeah.
especially a ribeye.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would really struggle with that decision.
See, having only had leftover Chicago-style pizza one night when we were visiting the mission home, and the president's wife warmed us up some, it was phenomenal, but it's hard for me to think of a pizza good enough that I could, like,
Dude,
take that instead of a steak. You know what I mean?
I will make you Chicago deep dish pizza.
Listen, I'm not going to fight you on this, John. I mean...
I've got the recipes. I have a special pan just for this purpose.
Do you really? Do they have a special pan?
Yeah, and mine's kind of makeshift. One day I will have a like true cast iron Chicago deep dish pizza.
Is that
pan.
kind of what they use? Is cast iron?
Yeah, but it's a thinner cast iron than
Like a
skillet. A large skillet.
Okay.
So,
Interesting.
yeah, I honestly don't know. Like and I'm like trying to take it to an extreme of like you could only eat one, and you had to give the other one up.
That conflicted, huh? Now, what if it wasn't Chicago style pizza?
Oh, then a steak every time.
Really? So it's the Chicago style that makes it so good.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and if there's any confusion about what that is,
yes, please.
The cheese is on the
us.
bottom, followed by the toppings, with the tomato on top, and it's a thicker tomato sauce than
a can of ragu.
Yeah, than like what Domino's would do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if we're just talking Domino's or a ribeye, I take a ribeye every day of the week.
Yeah, but it's the Chicago style that makes it so good. What kind of toppings? Like straight up meat, or do they do all the weird stuff too?
They will do the weird stuff. But you like have the two extremes. Like the classic is sausage and pepperoni and really just sausage. Like Lou Malnati's is famous for, they roll out their sausage, so it's like 3/16, like just thicker than an eighth of an inch.
Okay.
Like a round,
The whole
a
pizza
round
then,
circle,
not like little things that were
and put
just...
it on the pie like
Okay.
one giant patty. That's how Lou's does theirs. Gino's is more of like a crumbled sausage.
Okay.
But you've got that, and then on the far extreme, you've got like a spinach ricotta, more like veggie style pizza.
Do you eat a Chicago pizza with a fork?
Yes.
You don't like... We're not talking like... I mean, it sounds more like a pasta. No, not a pasta, but casserole type of deal.
Yeah, I mean,
instead of
it's a
something you
thick
just
crust, a quarter to a half inch of cheese, lots of meat, and then tomato sauce on top. Like, you don't pick this up. It's, you eat it with a fork.
Delicious.
It is.
All right.
I may pick the pizza.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm interested in this.
I think I would pick Gino's pizza, especially like if it were today and someone were like, do you want Gino's or do you want a steak? The fact that Gino's is like such a rare commodity and I don't get to have it all the time.
Sure.
I'd pick Gino's.
Yeah. Huh. Okay. All right. I support it. I need to educate myself on this Chicago style pizza. Because, like I say, I had it once. It was leftover. I don't know who it was from. I assume one of those two. Because she said, this is like the best pizza in Chicago or whatever. Dude, it was the most amazing pizza I've ever had in my life. And it was day old leftover. Cold out of the... Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It was so good.
We will fix this problem, Mike.
All right.
As your friend, I will resolve this issue. But in our game of Would You Rather cook a perfect brisket for a family gathering
Okay.
or win a barbecue competition for your ribs?
Oh, man.
And
That's a good one.
This is like a big family event, like Worlds Collide, your parents, her parents,
Oh, man.
grandparents probably,
Sure.
the brother-in-law that, you know, kind of talks down about your food.
I will throw down. Dude, you know
Whitney's
what?
only got sisters, right?
Yes.
Okay, so brother-in-law was the right thing to say
Yeah,
there.
for sure. For sure. You know, I think I'd go with the perfect brisket. I mean, I've been in the barbecue competitions. I have not won. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, I've been there, done that. But the people that win, it's kind of like, cool. Like, it was almost underwhelming, you know? I mean, and I didn't go to a huge competition.
I was going to say, I think it would depend on what the competition
That's
was.
true. I mean, if there's a $10,000 grand prize, maybe it's a little different.
Yeah, like
but-
if it was a Jack or Memphis in May or like...
Yeah, that's fair. I think I'm still going to go with the brisket. I feel confident in my rib game, but judges didn't seem to like it. So I like the way I do things. But the perfect brisket, I'm after that every time.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think I may have cooked my best brisket ever the last time I did it.
Yeah? Did you tell us about that?
Yeah, we talked about it. We
That's
don't
right.
need to bore everybody about it.
All right.
Saran wrap, man, I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It changes the
That's
world.
right. Dude. Shout out to Mr. Lee for giving me that pro tip. All right, John. Would you rather use only one type of wood for the rest of your life, so like oak, cherry, hickory, or only one type of rub?
I'd probably pick one type of wood.
Go on.
Because I'd pick something like pecan, which is just great on everything.
Absolutely. Love it.
But rubs, like, man, I can travel the world with a pork shoulder and a bunch of different rubs.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's so many different things you can do with rubs. And I think that impacts the flavor, especially on a pellet grill,
Yeah.
way more than what type of wood you're running.
Yeah. I think you're right. And I think you can pick a good wood that work for all the meats. But there's certain rubs that I think would be fantastic on pork that maybe wouldn't be so great on
Yeah.
beef, like maybe too sweet or something
Like honey
that.
hog? I
Yeah.
would never put honey hog on a steak.
Yeah, right. Okay. All right. Well said, John.
Yeah. I feel like that was an easy one.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad.
All right, Mike. Would you
This is a
rather
good one.
cook in the pouring rain or in freezing cold temperatures? I know what I would say on this one.
If it's me, I'm thinking the freezing cold temperatures because I can throw my welding blanket over that bad boy and it stays consistent. Pouring rain, I feel like, would be a constant battle. And I'm not even talking about personal comfort. I'm talking trying to keep my temp consistent. Like,
Yeah, because rain brings humidity, and there's normally wind involved with rain.
yeah,
Yeah, I would and I've done it. Like,
Yeah.
I've cooked in sub-zero temperatures, and I throw a welding blanket over it, and everything's fine.
seriously, I do it all winter, and I quite enjoy it, actually. Like, it's kind of nice. So,
Yep.
yeah, that one, honestly, that one was kind of easy, too, I guess. All right. Would you rather eat overcooked, dry barbecue every day for a week or never eat barbecue again for a year? Those are your only two options.
Oh, I'd eat dried barbecue for a week.
I think you gotta suffer for a week so that you don't suffer for a lifetime. That's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah. Let me pivot that question. Would you rather eat overcooked brisket
I knew this was coming.
or undercooked ribs?
So let's discuss overcooked brisket. We're talking dry, maybe even crusty. Like when we did our barbecue fills, there was the guy it was just a brick, and you cut into, and there's like nothing in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, take it however far you want to.
Yeah.
Like, it's overdone. There's no
Overdone.
question about it. It's probably not a meteorite. You can probably cut it,
Right.
but yeah, there's some crunchiness involved, and
And then overcooked or undercooked ribs, still safe to eat,
yes,
but clearly not up to tender, fall off the bone.
yeah, you're gonna bite into
temperatures.
it, fight it off the bone, have to masticate for quite a while before you get that broken down enough that you're brave enough to swallow it.
I think it would have to. I think I'd have to do the undercooked ribs.
Really?
I think so. I mean, just because like in the party rib and stuff, I've done the grilled ribs, which are significantly tougher than, low and slow smoked. And I didn't mind it as much as I thought I would. I mean, we're probably still not at that level quite yet, but still, I think I could chew for a while. Then brisket is such an investment in money and time and emotionally that if it was ruined, I don't think I could do it.
See, I could eat beef jerky, but like at a certain point of chewing on an undercooked rib, like I just want to gag and be done.
It would not be an enjoyable experience for sure. That's fair.
Yeah, I'd rather eat a little beef jerky and just be done with it and smile my way through it instead of like
Instead of just sitting, I can hear it in my mind. Just, well, all right.
And inevitably, when somebody does that, it's like, oh, aren't these the best ribs ever? And they've tried so hard.
Right. They put a lot of time into it, and
you don't just want to be like, no, these are garbage.
yeah, I kind of want to be like, what were the last ribs that you had like?
Yeah.
Because if this is an upgrade.
Have you never been to Chili's?
Seriously.
Oh. All right. I'm going to ask you this question because I already gave my answer.
Okay.
Would you rather smoke a whole pig or smoke a 30-pound brisket for a big event?
Now, we have talked about Irv, and Irv was a lot of work. I think it's got to be the 30-pound brisket.
Have you seen the bone-in brisket that Kendrick does?
Yes. Yeah. How big was that one? 28 pounds?
Yeah, it was like 30. It was a
Yeah.
big mother.
I think it would have to be that. I think that would be fascinating. The whole pig, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the whole pig. Like, that was a blast. It was a lot of work. We were exhausted, couldn't even enjoy it on the end. I'm sure the brisket would be a little bit more work than a regular brisket,
I feel
but
way more confident in my ability to cook that brisket.
yeah.
There are so many places that pig could go wrong.
Really, when you think about it, we got kind of lucky that everything just kind of worked out, cooked for all the way
timing,
through.
like
Yeah, dude.
we got so lucky on that
It
one.
was because we were doing it for a church thing. We had a little extra help, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, I'd go with the 30-pound brisket. I'm sure, like I say, I don't think that it would be a cakewalk. Like, I'm sure it'd be a learning curve. But I think I'd prefer that than a whole pig. I mean, we had to have both of us just to flip the frickin' pig over on the pit. Like, it was
Yeah,
It was
and
heavy. It was
and that
work.
was, and we really could have used another person.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. I'd have to go with the 30-pound brisket.
Okay.
Oh, this is a good one. Would you... This reminds me of girls' camp. Would you rather be without your thermometer or your tongs during a cook?
Give up my tongs.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think so,
Yeah,
too.
you've got to have a thermometer. And let's be honest, my instant read thermometer, I've used that to flip a piece of meat before.
100%, dude. I was just thinking that. Like, I used that to flip chicken the other day.
Yeah, like yeah. I don't care what anyone says, and whoever, like, you pinch these fingers together and poke
Yeah.
them. Like, no, it doesn't work.
The thermometer is just a game changer, man.
You need a thermometer. It doesn't make you less of a man. Like, you have to have the thermometer. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, 100% need the thermometer. And, I mean, worst case, like, use your hands. Like, skin grows back.
Well, do you remember Danny when we had him on here? He talked about his lamb. He would talk about in high school, they'd just bring a grill to lunch. And they just flip burgers with, like, their ID cards or whatever. That's awesome. You could get totally resourceful with that. So
Yeah, there are lots of things you can do without tongs. I want my thermometer.
yeah, I support it.
So, alrighty. Ooh, I love this question. Would you rather have unlimited access to all cuts of meat, but no barbecue sauce, or all the barbecue sauce in the world, but only basic cuts?
Define basic cuts.
You have your standard steaks,
Okay.
sirloins, ribeyes, T-bone, strip, hamburgers, pork shoulder, pork loin, and the chicken cuts. But you don't have picanhas, you don't have beef shanks, you don't have
Tri-tips.
tri-tips.
The unlimited access to all cuts of meat is what I'm hung up on. Like, I would have to go with that because there's a lot of meats that I would love to try, but either are not readily available in our area or are crazy expensive.
Yeah.
So if I could just I think I could make do without barbecue sauce. I'm more of a rub guy anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Haley would kill me, but she loves sauce.
yeah.
All things sauce, Haley wants. I don't need it, man.
Yeah.
Like, the juice from the meat's enough for me. Like,
Yeah.
I would way rather have dry rub than have something dripping in sauce.
Right.
So-
Could you marinate, do you think, or do you think that goes with sauce?
Yeah, no, I think you could.
Okay.
Because it says barbecue sauce.
Because I'm just thinking chicken. I love marinated chicken more than I love chicken based with barbecue sauce. Like, I like the marinade, the brine. As long as I could do that, I think I'd be totally fine without barbecue sauce.
Yeah, I mean,
Add a little moisture.
even if you couldn't, like, you could dry brine.
Right. Yeah, that's true. And do kind of the same thing. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. That's a good question. I like that one.
I like that one.
This is a lot more fun than
Yeah.
even when we first thought about doing this, I was like, that could be fun, I guess, but this is actually kind of cool.
All right.
All right. This is a good question. John, would you rather smoke a turkey or a prime rib for Thanksgiving dinner?
I would smoke a turkey.
Interesting. Go on.
I'm guess I'm traditional in that sense. I do a prime rib for Christmas.
Oh, you do that every year, don't you? Okay.
But the other thing that we've started to do is because so I think like most people, we're on an every other schedule.
Yeah.
We do call it our American Thanksgiving.
America.
On the Saturday after Thanksgiving now.
Okay.
And we smoke a pork shoulder, we smoke a brisket, we smoke ribs,
That's way cool.
Yeah. So.
Not turkey, though, for the American
no.
Thanksgiving. Just all the regular barbecue cuts, huh?
Yeah. Okay. So, but I love smoked turkey, man.
Dude, once I smoked a turkey, I'll never go back. Like, it was... Yeah. And maybe it was just the brining process, but smoking a smoked turkey is so much better than an oven roasted turkey.
So here's a question, because I know how much you love shredded ham.
I do love shredded ham.
Would you rather, for sandwich meat, have smoked ham or smoked turkey?
This is a wonderful question. Dude, that's tough, because I love that shredded ham on a sandwich. Man, I will eat that for days. But a smoked turkey sandwich, man.
Have you ever smoked a turkey breast just for...
No, but you have like a sandwich slicer and
I've got a deli slicer.
I just kind of chop it up and kind of have almost like, I don't know what you'd call it, a chopped turkey sandwich basically. Yeah. And it, so good. So good. I wonder how it would be deli sliced though. I bet it would be.
Dude, it is banging.
I don't know if I can answer that because man.
Now you know how I feel about the pizza,
and the steak.
Like, I am physically unable to answer this question.
Yeah, I don't know what I would say here. Like, dude, the smoked turkey, just so moist. Oh, man, so good. And you could do whatever. You could put anything on a smoked turkey sandwich, and it would be delicious. I did, like, a whole Thanksgiving leftover sandwich last year with, like, freaking stuffing and cranberry sauce. Oh,
one of the first Christmas, or one of the first Thanksgivings I ever did with my in-laws. They just cooked a couple of turkey breasts and just had sandwiches.
Oh.
And I was like, what is going on here? Like, I was like, what is, like, I don't, like,
no,
we're like,
hard pass.
Like, what are we doing? But it was great. Haley's brother, Andy, like, that guy takes his sandwich building to a new level.
Oh, go on.
I mean, it's like an art form. All the different things and like just the right amount of avocado goes on the sandwich and mayo. Like, you want a good sandwich, Andy can make a sandwich that will melt your heart.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
So.
That's an interesting idea.
It was awesome.
Because I've thought about just getting a turkey breast just for Thanksgiving. Because I like that the best anyway. But if you just did like sandwiches, I don't know.
Oh, we get turkey breasts all the time, and I just smoke them and cut them up. And like that's our lunch meat for the week or whatever.
Here's my answer. I think I would go with the ham. Only because I'm thinking of a delicious like panini grilled cheese, and while it's delicious with the turkey, I think the ham takes it to the next level.
That's
so fair. I think I'm going to have to go with ham. However, it is a very slim margin here. We're talking, I mean, we're splitting hairs.
Have you ever smoked cheese?
No, but I've heard so much about it.
We should talk about that on another episode.
We should.
We won't go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, my buddy does that. I'll have to talk to him.
Yeah.
All right. Where are we at? Here we go. Would you rather have to eat Carolina-style vinegar sauce on everything or eat Kansas City-style sweet barbecue sauce on everything?
I'd probably go Carolina.
Really? Because I was thinking Kansas City. No doubt. Why Carolina?
I just like the vinegar mustard.
Okay.
I am more that like savory bitter flavor guy than I am let's drench everything in sugary ketchup.
Yeah. All right.
Don't get me wrong. Like, I like Kansas City sauce, and it certainly has its place, especially on ribs or pulled pork in some cases. But given my option, I'd go Carolina slaw, especially if I've got to eat it on everything. Mm-hmm. I'd way rather have the vinegar.
Really? See, I kind of grew up on KC Masterpiece, so
I did too.
That's kind of what that's when I think barbecue sauce, that's what and even the Carolina stuff, I like it, but it's so different than what I'm used to that it's kind of like, ooh, which maybe would be intriguing, I guess.
No, like the KC Masterpiece brown sugar sauce, man, that's my go-to.
Yeah.
Like, I think I like that better than I like Sweet Baby Ray's.
Really? Mm-hmm. Sweet Baby Ray's changed my life. I'll eat that on everything. So I think I'd have to say that. But
Can I tell you about what my mission president told me one time?
I don't know.
So I was actually in the MTC in Peru. So MTC is the Missionary Training Center.
Uh-huh.
And there are several of them spread throughout the world for training missionaries, based on where you're going. And I was in Peru, and good old Connie Crick was the MTC president there, and he pulled all of the North American elders into a meeting when we first got there. I served my mission in Peru, and I'd been really fortunate that I had traveled all over the world and like been in third world countries and kind of understood the like culture and these people will literally give you the shirt off their back to try and help you and be kind to you, and if you refuse it, that's a really big insult.
Pretty rude. Yeah.
And at the time, like, missionaries have just tons of rules, right? Which is a good thing. Like, they're there for a reason. At the time, it was very common, and probably still is to some degree today. Like, you were not to eat food that wasn't prepared by you, like prepared for you by your cook, or something that came out of a retail package.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
I guess that makes sense.
Just because like they were so worried about us getting sick, and I mean,
right.
Like I drank water out of a couple of streams and ended up with tapeworms and amoebas. Like foodborne illness was a real thing.
Big deal.
But he was like, so help me, if I ever find out that you're in a home and one of these, suite members sacrifices so much to give you food and you turn it down because of a stupid rule, like I will hunt you down and beat you senseless.
Oh, really?
He goes, and if you don't like what they're serving you, you write to your mama for a bottle of KC Masterpiece because you could eat a turd rolled in nuts if you had a bottle of KC Masterpiece. You're going to eat everything that's given to you. And it was just hilarious.
That's awesome.
So still this day, every time I think of KC Masterpiece, I think of good old Connie Craig. Yeah. Yeah, it was awesome. I almost fell out of my chair. I was laughing so hard when he said that. No. All right, Mike. Well, we are getting to that time, so let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is going to be a good one.
Yeah.
Would you rather clean your smoker every time you use it, or never be able to use foil for any of your cooks?
When we say foil, does that include butcher paper, do you think?
Yeah, foil or wrap.
Wrapping, anything. I mean, I think I'd rather clean it every time. I should do that anyway. I don't, but it doesn't say deep clean. So, I mean, define clean, right? I don't know. What do you think?
Dude, I don't know how I would do barbecue without a crutch.
I have to use, call me a sissy, but I have to use the wrap on most of the things I do.
Yeah, I mean, I've done briskets without a wrap, but I get nervous about them drying out.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot more risk involved there.
Right.
And I go back to the saran wrap. You have to saran wrap for the rest. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'd just clean the smoker every time, which is not a fun thing.
It sucks.
And we should probably do another episode about cleaning and maintenance and stuff.
Haley's other brother, He really only uses a smoker on Sundays, and they cook on it, they have dinner, and then he goes out and he cleans it every single time.
Oh, wow. Good for him.
Yeah, I don't know how he stays that meticulous about it. But
well, I mean,
he's
we
a
probably
dentist.
should,
He probably has to be meticulous.
yeah, that's true.
So,
kind of comes with the territory.
but yeah, I just couldn't do it.
Yeah. I don't think I'd be able to keep up with it. But
Yeah, it'd be hard for sure. But
well, that's fun, John. I enjoyed
was.
that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it listening. Yeah. That's kind of cool. We should do stuff like this more often. Where it's just us just talking instead of I listened to the last episode and I was humiliated because I'm a teacher. And I felt like I was just like so anyway. Apologies everybody. I will repent and do better.
well, that's all we can ask for, Mike.
Well, that's all you're gonna get. So
All right. Would you rather listen to John and Mike on another episode of Fat Guys with Smokers or unsubscribe? We will see what happens with our numbers. Until next time, I'm John.
I'm Mike.
Oh, hang on.
Oh.
Rewind.
Okay. All right. I take it all back.
Would you rather listen to John and Mike talk about boring things or show them how much you love the content of this episode by sharing it and getting your friends to subscribe also?
Oh, shoot.
Until next time, I'm John.
I'm Mike.
And we're Fat Guys with Smokers. Thanks for listening to the Fat Guys with Smokers podcast. Be sure to check us out on Instagram and Facebook. Leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. Be sure to subscribe so you don't forget to tune in for even more nonsense from a couple of Fat Guys with Smokers.
Don't forget to like, subscribe.